You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome to episode 4 of Inspired right here at DurianAsean with me, Jun Sern. And as usual, we have Vanda Chen, trainer, digital and a social media specialist and founder of Proud Lab PLT. And we have Chen, she is a trainer, mentor who specializes in personal growth and development. Hello.
Hi, Jun Sern.
Hello, Jun Sern. Hi, Vanda.
Right. For those who's following us for the first time today, Inspired is a show where we share tips and strategies in the area of social media marketing, digital marketing, as well as talent development. And if you do have any questions you want to ask us, you can always drop us a comment on our Facebook page, DurianAsean, and we will try to answer your questions in the next show. All right. Well, today we have two very interesting topics. Last week, Vanda actually shared with us on e-learning, online learning, and then we learned a lot. That you can actually get some things slightly cheaper.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So this week she will be sharing more in depth on which website we can go to, what kind of course we can do, and how can we get that discounted rate.
Yes, and free.
Okay. And Catherine last week she shared with us quite an interesting topic. Structure of presentation or presentation structure. And this week she'll be sharing on
the tips how to make your presentation more persuasive.
So now you have your structure. Now how do you persuade your listeners? All right. So let's just start off with Vanda once again. And she will be sharing with us on the continuation of the topic, which is e-learning. So what kind of websites can we go in? You did mention that there's a few websites that you used to go.
That I used to go, like Udemy, Skillshare. But before I start that with my platforms, I want to share with you one platform that I found is very benefit for all the parents to the kids. Because as a mom, last year, I was looking for tutor for my son, and I find that his maths is doing pretty bad. So he scored I think the midterm exam, I saw his maths only 40, score 40. So it's like give me a shock. For moms, like, oh my God.
Who else got 40 for maths?
You?
It's her.
Okay. Yeah, I did before. So that's why
40.
40. I'm eager to know this platform. And I should know earlier.
Yeah, and I was like looking for tutor. I was frantically, asking every friend, do you have a good maths teacher? And my son just moved to international school, so follow the Cambridge IGCSE type of structures.
Okay.
So it's a bit, it's kind of tough to get a tutor for this. So that's why I'm asking. And then finally I got someone calling me saying that, okay, I can give a tuition to your son, but it will cost you 100 ringgit per hour. Oh, so for me, oh my God, 100 ringgit per hour. And 1 week, how many hours that, I need to send my son to your place, and that will cost me, if let's say I send him every day for 2 hours, that cost me like 1,000 per week, right? So I just curiously thinking, because myself, I did a lot of online learning. So I was wondering, is there any online learning platform that, I can get my son to do? So I searched Skype tutor. I just searched Google Skype tuition or Skype tutor. I got to this website called Preply. Preply.com.
Preply.
Yes.
Okay.
And when I go to Preply, I find that they say, learning anything faster with the world best one-to-one online tutors. Oh, wow. Okay. And find a tutor. Then I put there mathematics. And I have a long list of mathematics tutors there with different rates. Okay. So they will show with the review who is this tutor, what is he able to teach in which type of standard, whether for elementary or for secondary. It's very kind of academic. And their fee varies. You can find people as low as $2 per hour, and it can be people who offer as high as $40 per hour. It depends.
Wow, okay.
Depends what. If you want a PhD to teach you maths, of course, maybe it costs you $40 per hour, right? Then I found a guy in Ukraine, and I find that he got a very good review from many students. Say that he's a very nice tutor. That after the maths tuition, is very good for them.
They started to get better at it.
Yes. So I want to give a shot on this. So I go and actually try him out for 1 hour. So I bought the time, and his rate is kind of low. He's offering at that time at $6 per hour.
Oh,
$6
For what subject?
for
Maths.
mathematics. Yes. If you compare with 100 ringgits, of course, $6 is better. Right?
Yes, of course. But he conducted in English or?
Conducted in English.
Okay.
And I actually sit beside my son when we set out the Skype, and I can.
Oh, it's live.
It's live.
Oh, wow, okay.
It's a live
It's
tuition.
online.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, that's
So I
Online
just say
one-to-one.
hello to him. A nice guy, a young guy from Ukraine, and very intelligent. So, so my son, after the first lesson of 1 hour, my son kind of liked this type of tuition. So for me, I think like it's a good way for me to introduce online learnings to teenagers, because my son is 12 years old at the time. So I think it's a good way to train him to accommodate himself to this type of online learning. Because sometimes kids, right? If you ask them to face a computer to learn, maybe it's better for them to play game.
Correct.
To learning, they don't have such patience.
They will think twice.
Yes. If I put him to Udemy, I'm for sure he will not learn. Yeah. But now this is a live online tutors, and that guy is talking to Skype to him, and is doing the real one-to-one tuition. So after a while, my son really loved the tuition. So we did the tuition like every evening.
Every evening, like
Every
from
evening.
Monday to Sunday, right?
Monday to weekdays, Monday to Friday, every day. And I bought like 20 hours package. It cost me about maybe $570 per hour. So it's very cost effective. One shot I can purchase 20 hours. Then they just use up. And my son will arrange the schedule with him, like what time, because you have to minus the time difference as well. But I always find that they always have the tuition about 5 to 6. Okay, by having this tuition is also one very convenient for me, because I don't have to send my son to the tuition place, right? It's just in his room, is at his own pace.
At his own comfort.
Sitting at home. So we don't have to bother about, transport, pick him, send him there and pick him
But do
back.
you have to dress up a bit more? Because
No, you can
For
dress.
his sound, I think it's okay. For his sound.
Yeah, you can dress in pajamas if you want, right?
Okay.
But does he need to do the homework for your kids? Like, does
Yes.
he need to study what is a math for your
Who
kid?
need to study? You mean this
the
guy?
tutor?
The tutor is already, this is his job. He has been doing tuition for long. So he got many students.
So he's very familiar with the subject your son
Yes.
was studying.
Yes. So if you go pre-apply, you get a lot of tutors there. Some been teaching there for long, so you can see their review. So they are expert in certain subjects. So if they are teaching maths, mean they are expert in maths. And there are many languages. You can learn Spanish, you can learn French, you can learn
So
everything.
all these are live
All live one-to-one.
with Skype.
It's all
Skype.
1-to-1.
Skype, yes.
Oh, wow.
But I'm very curious. The fee as low as $2 per hour. What subject is that?
Okay, for $2 per hour, you can get maths.
Maths?
Yeah.
Wow.
The elementary maths, secondary maths, and mostly it depends on which country they are from. Tutor from India, Bangladesh, Pakistan tend to charge lower. Tutor from US will
course.
charge, and UK will charge you higher. So, and also depends on their qualification. Some of them are actually teacher. Some of them are professor. So of course the PhD holder will charge you higher. So
Slightly more higher
PhD
value lah.
price.
Premium.
yes, and it's open up to university students. So because maybe local we have a lot of university students, and if they want to find someone to train to teach them something, they can actually go to pre-apply and
Oh, so
find
it means
expert.
all the way up to uni level.
Yes,
oh, wow,
uni
okay.
level. They have many topics there. They have chemical, they have physics, they have all sort of courses.
So this one is preply.com, preply.
preply.com. And after my son has been doing the tuition for a few months. At year-end result come in, he scored A for maths. Yeah.
That means it works, lah.
It works. It works. So when I asked myself, so he's like from a person that disliked maths, he tend to change him to like maths now. So he think maths is not a scary subject. So I think the tutor is doing a very good job.
That's very good. Yeah, I mean,
and he also is the one that introduced Khan Academy to my son. So at Khan Academy,
KHAN.
KHAN. So that is a very wonderful platform. So my son get used of his style in using Khan Academy course to train him. So at the end, like this year, he can go less tuition. He can go on his own to go to Khan Academy and learn by himself because he already get used to the style. So he know the tutor actually also using the things from Khan
same
Academy.
syllabus.
Same syllabus. As long as you have your own initiative, you can actually learn by yourself. But I find that this Preply is actually a very good and benefit platform. Many people don't know. When I told them my son actually have an online tutor, and the tuition teacher is actually from Ukraine. So they are like, Ukraine?
Haven't heard of this before.
Yeah, you got a tutor from Ukraine. Then I said, yeah, and it's live. Like, you get to see that that guy and just say hello. Sometimes I'll pass by and say hello, hi, how are you today?
What if we have Malaysian syllables? I mean, is there any tutors who actually teaches Malaysian syllables?
Actually, there are Malaysian tutor there. I found a Malaysian tutor actually there. He is currently my son tuition teacher also.
Oh, okay.
Teaching him in Chinese.
Oh, okay.
Mandarin.
Mandarin, yes, Mandarin, because my son Mandarin is not that good as well. So I find the tutor on Preply. But after we become friends, he actually visit my house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one-to-one.
Become friends lah.
Become friends. But it's regular, become my son regular tutor now, and my son like him. It's also get the, from Preply. So I find Preply is a very good platform for parents. I think you all should. One thing is to train the kids to adapt themselves to online learning, because you can see online learning is so powerful. So you'll be like a learning style of future. So you can get all the professional and all the expert. Distance is no more a obstacle for you, right? You don't need to travel to US to learn.
Means you have access to a lot of professionals out there, really good tutors out there. And I remember last time back then when I was having tuition, I had to travel so far away, to just go tuition to the exam. Forget it, study at home.
Sometimes distance is an obstacle. Make parents reluctant to send their kids for tuition.
And also sometimes you send, and the good tutor might have a whole lot of students there. It's one-to-one is hard to find.
And especially when you're living in big city like KL, then the traffic jam, then you have to go leave office earlier just to send your kids to tuition and all this thing. And this makes things so much more easier.
Not forgetting about the cost. The cost is so much
better.
Affordable.
Affordable, better, nearer. What other bad things? There's only no touch lah.
Time saving, I would say.
But it's through Skype, right? When you look at each face, like you do FaceTime, you do Skype, you can see their face actually.
All right, we're going to be taking a very short break, and coming back, we're going to be learning more about what is online learning and what are the websites we can go. We did learn about Preply, and then now we learn about Khan Academy for your kids, And now after the break, we will learn more about for adults. What can we get from online learning for adults? All right, coming back right after this on Inspired. Well, welcome back to Inspired. Before the break, Vanda was sharing with us on what is online learning, and she did share with us on Preply, she shared with us on Khan Academy. Now, what other websites that you can actually go to, especially for adults, if you want to continue improving ourselves, learning more new things? I understand you the last show you told me that there's a few. You went to Udemy.
I'm like, people calling me a Udemy addict. Okay. My son keeps saying that why I'm keep on Udemy addict. But Udemy is a platform with so many category type of courses. It's different that last week I remember I talk about some is very niche. Like you want to learn about web design, you go to Skill Crush. You want to learn about, I think, Code Academy is talking about those for programming. But if you want to learn about more commercial things, like you want to learn digital marketing, you want to learn business marketing, you can go to Udemy. Okay, and Udemy will comprises of many categories, from personal development, business, and they have also IT, anything that you can think under the sky.
Quite a lot of things.
A lot, and because they have also like photography, lifestyle thing, NLP, music, academic, everything.
I came across one course before that. I think they were teaching about basic astronomy. I was very interested to click. Then after that, I was like,
you mean on Udemy?
What is
I
that?
think it was on Coursera.
Basic astronomy. Okay, are you
It's
going?
quite some time ago, because I remember Coursera was one of the first open e-learning
Yes.
website. So last time my friend would tell me, hey, go and check it out, it's very interesting. So I went there, I was like, oh, basic astronomy. I was so tempted to click, but I decided not to, because I said I couldn't commit the time. But there are a lot I saw. I mean, there are a lot very different type of what you call syllables or subjects or courses that you can take. And sometimes you'll be wondering, they got such thing also. And like you say, it's something that you can explore. And sometimes I click favorite, like save it up first. I say maybe next time I will go in and maybe I join the course.
You can put on your wish list, because maybe you go through all the courses and you think, I like to have this, I like to have that, but the price is so expensive now. Maybe it's $200 US. And what you can do is actually you can put in your wish list. So you put in your wish list, and later on you come back and check. At currently, right, today, there's another 4 days left. Udemy is offering for $12 US.
$12 US for any course, right?
For all the courses. It's
And
like
usually how much is one course?
they have courses as high as $200 US.
Oh,
Currently
okay.
it's 12.
Wow.
But Vanda, I just wonder, are this real promotion? You know, in our shops, when they launch promotion, sometimes we are so experienced in buying things, we say, is that real promotion? So is this real promotion in this platform?
I think it's real, because if you go to the no promotion time, you can't buy the course. You have to wait.
see.
But for regular people on Udemy, we know that, okay, if you can wait, you wait. Yeah. It's almost every month they will have something. Sometimes it might not be $12 US. Sometimes it will run 15. Sometimes it will run 24.
But it's still good. It's still good. Yeah.
Yes. So for me, how I value is like, if the cost is 195, now selling me at 12. Okay. For me, it's worth for me to buy.
10%.
Yeah.
90% discount.
Yeah, buy it at right time.
Yeah. If let's say 20, now you give me 12. For me, I don't think so. I have only $8 US. You know.
So besides Udemy, what other websites that you used?
I use LinkedIn, I use Skillshare, more or less the same. But beside the point, I'm coming back to Udemy again. I'm going to tell you, besides getting the discounted price at either 10 or 12, right, you can also get free. Okay, how you're going to get free course is you can go to a website by the name of promo coupon.
One word, is it?
Promocoupons24.com. 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 Every day will reveal about one to maybe a few courses on Udemy, free courses.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and this course will run out very fast. Okay, so when you continue on promo coupons and they say, okay, this digital marketing class costs free now, when you click, maybe it costs 200, but now it's free. So you quickly have to enroll first. When you enroll, the course will be yours, free forever. Maybe tomorrow you come back, the cost already $200 US.
It goes back to normal.
It goes back to normal. So normally, why is it happen? Because the instructors who create this course will give out a number of free review places. Normally they'll give like 500. So the first 500 will get free. So after that, sorry, you either need to pay for the $200 or you have to wait for the $10 offer.
Or you have to be friends with them.
You have to be friends with them, yes.
I remember you did mention, to be friends with the instructor, and sometimes they may actually give you free.
Yeah, I got many. I actually wrote to them, I say that I will do a review for you, would you want to offer me a free? They will give you a free. Many nice people out there. So beside promo coupons24.com that you can collect free courses daily, you can also go to Facebook and search for groups that Udemy free coupon groups. There are so many groups out there, and they put there Udemy free coupons or Udemy discounted coupon. Basically, it's group for those instructor or trainers to offer their free courses, either to get the numbers first or to get the review. To let people go through the course and give them some feedback. So you can benefit from there. So you can get to know a lot of instructors and then you can also get the course free. So that's how I got 5,700 over courses.
That's close to 6,000 courses. Vanda have a very interesting library.
Yes.
Personal library.
Personal library.
Yeah. My close friend all would know that. They will ask me, do you have Google AdWords on your Udemy? I would like to go and search. Oh, yes. Okay. Can I have a look? So they will come.
But they have to log into your account.
They have to log in my account. I have to really trust them and allow them to log in because it's tied to my credit cards. But that's why I do have another account, my son's account. So sometimes, of course, his one is lesser. He remember that he collect. Otherwise, not collecting. Yeah.
So what other websites that you usually go to get? I remember I one time came across this one called OpenToYou.com.
Open to You.
Yeah, it's if not mistaken, it's an Australian website where they give different type of courses, and that time I was thinking of becoming a trainer myself, and they have this one called Adult Learning. So I was really curious, and it was quite interesting because they every week or every day they have a module. So you watch the video, is around 10 minutes, and right after the video they will prompt you to go and do something like a quiz, which is related. It's like your assignment lah. So once you do it, then they will give you your mark, everything. So once you complete all the courses, because they don't want you to do it in one day, they let you do it every day. But of course you can do it in one shot lah. But as working adults, sometimes where you have the time, so you spend 10 minutes every day just doing the course. So I think usually I spend close to 20 minutes to half an hour, because sometimes you want to think about how to answer the questions, and it's just everything's just clicking on it, and it's quite interesting. Then once you finish the course, you can either choose to pay to get a cert, or they just send you a digital cert, then you can just print it out. But it's just a certificate of appreciation kind of thing.
I think 10 minutes per day is very durable for working adults. Very good.
Open to You is quite interesting. But of course, they don't have as many courses as Udemy or Coursera. But they have interesting ones. And a lot of these trainers, they are mostly lecturers, if not mistaken.
Okay.
But of course, in terms of presentation, not that good lah. A bit dry lah.
I think you will find more crap presentation sometimes on Udemy, because Udemy is too open. Like any Tom, Dick, and Harry, they will upload their course there, and people cannot just. Even though they got moderation, but how well is their moderation? So you tend to have boring presentation, or people tend to just to make the course look long, lengthy, and just talk a lot. They are not following Catherine's advice on the structure. It's a no structure.
So they have to listen to our show. You should make this into a course lah.
Yes, but then right, I find that the good thing of online learning come in here. Catherine did mention, if you go to a bad presentation, you have to sit through, right? But online learning, you need not. You can
stop.
You can stop.
Fast forward.
Okay, this is so boring. I'll just fast forward, and just go to the point.
Do you? If they say you come across any bad, I won't say bad lah, not so good. No, cannot be negative. Must be positive.
Yeah.
Okay. The presenter or the trainer that is not as what you expected. Do you actually tell them that maybe you should improve?
Okay, if they request me to do a review, I did came in. Because some is already my friend, right? So they say, can you review first? You go inside free. So after that, I will actually wrote a message to them. I say, no, you cannot do this. I think please improve. So they did improve. So this is how we get the free coupon. We want to offer concrete feedback to people,
concrete
right?
assessment. And
Yes.
constructive criticism.
Yeah.
So, but does that mean as a consumer we must read the review first before we decide whether we want to enroll that class, right?
Yes.
So if the review is good enough, so it's safe lah. It's safe to enroll.
Yeah,
It's safe to spend time.
Yes.
It's $10 US. It's a lot also, right?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
So what other websites that you go to learn from this online learning?
Another one is Skillshare. Okay, Udemy is different. Udemy is selling course by course, right? Skillshare is on a lot of courses free. Okay, a lot of free there. So, but Skillshare is very short. It's like, really, we call that bite-sized learning. So every video, short video, maybe less than maybe 5 minutes video. So you just learn a little bit of things. And there are also paid version there, but they go on subscription base, and it's kind of low cost. It's about, I think, about $9.90 US per month subscription that you access to everything there. And all the instructors just upload their short courses there. So, but it's very short. But one thing, short is good because we do not have time to listen to lengthy presentations, right? So that is another way that I can recommend. Most of the Udemy instructors will create their short courses in Skillshare as well. So they go on both. So you can learn in Skillshare. And if you want to monetize, let's say you have something like Catherine want to give a course on presentation, Catherine can create in Skillshare. They are instructors on Skillshare telling me they earn about $10,000 US per month.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
Okay, bye-bye.
That's pretty good. Let's do that. Let's do
I'm going
that.
home now.
and what I heard, there are many actually. They are actually got instructors earning as high as $40,000 US per month.
Wow.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, per month.
We need to find out what are the interesting topics.
Yeah, and they put up to Skillshare, and once a lot of people subscribe to their, the course there, and they will get earnings share with Skillshare. So Skillshare is a very famous monetized platform for instructors. Same like Udemy. Udemy also, you upload, somebody bought your course, you share with Udemy. Yeah, and it's forever, right?
Yeah.
It's passive income.
So the next one is, you were saying Linda from LinkedIn.
Linda, yes.
It's not a lady, it's a platform.
It's a platform. Linda is more professional. Not you and not everyone go upload courses there. It must be really certified by Linda, and Linda tie in with LinkedIn. And if you subscribe to LinkedIn Premium, of course you access to Linda. Yeah, so any of LinkedIn pay platform you can access to this learning platform, and LinkedIn is a place that for you to really advance your career. So I think by going to LinkedIn learning platform, you can actually it's good for anyone who want to do a career advancement. So they can have in mind, maybe they are now is a clerk, then they want to become a social media executive. So they select. So there will a pathway for them to go through the courses.
It will help them to at least shape what
Shape
they
first,
want
where
to move
you want to
into.
go,
Okay.
what you should know. So I find that's very good. And I heard that you mentioned about Coursera earlier. Coursera earlier is not that commercialized. They are more on like you want to get course from University of Singapore, right? You have a social media for PR from University of Singapore that you can get in Coursera. Their course is all from the university. So you need not to actually enter the university. You can actually learn in Coursera.
I remember the first time I entered Coursera, it was free. Then after that, I think after a few years later, they started to charge people because they said, when every time you have something free, people take it for granted.
Yeah.
So put a minimal charge, so at least there's a certain value to it.
Make people serious about learning.
Yes, I think their charges is not high. Coursera is charging about $49 per month. But you access to all the credible courses from different universities in the world, you see. You see how value is that? Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is, end of the day, it's all about whether you are willing to learn or not, whether you want to learn or not. There's so many websites out there. There's Udemy, Udemy, is that how you spell it? Udemy, there's Skillshare, as in skills, SKILLSHARE.
Yeah.
And for children, there's preply.com, there is Khan Academy.
Yeah.
You can search it up on Google. It will pop up straight away. I did it. I learned. I know. And then we have LinkedIn Learning under Linda.
Yeah.
Okay. Then we have Coursera. That's open to you. So there's a big list of online learning that you can actually access, and it's not expensive.
Yeah, and another one that I want to mention is you can download the apps on mobile, and you can
apps.
just bring on the go.
Yes.
Yeah, you can
Be
learn
in the
everywhere
car,
you
in the
want.
plane. Of course, don't do it when you're driving.
Yeah.
You can listen.
Can
Yeah,
listen.
like how Catherine said, listen. Can, no problem. So do try to go into this website if you are interested, and you can get a lot of access on a lot of interesting courses. And sometimes, who knows, maybe you're gonna change your career. Your career path, you know?
So now people have no excuses that they have no resources.
Yes.
So many resources provided by Vanda.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
no limit.
and it's all just in the touch of the screen.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to be taking a short break. Coming back, we're going to move into the next segment, which is presentation with Catherine Chen, right here on Inspired.
You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Inspired on DurianAsean with me, Jun Sern, Vanda, and Catherine. And just now earlier we learned about online learning. Now let's just move on to slightly more physical one, presentation. Okay, so what are you going to be sharing with us today, Catherine?
Today I will share with our audience how to make your presentation more convincing, more persuasive, and more impressive.
So what are the things that we have to do to start with convincing people? Is there any research need to be done? Do we need to practice ourselves?
There are 5 simple tips that I would like to share with our audience today. I had this kind of experience before. I don't know whether Vanda or Johnson, you have this kind of experience before or not. I'm not a person who is good at cooking. So, but I always want to learn from my mom. She is so good at cooking. So when I saw she was cooking something, I will ask her, I said, Mom, how do you cook that one? That one was so wonderful. I want to cook that for my own family. So my mom will say, oh, you prepare meat, you prepare like potato, you prepare chili, that's all. So when I'm trying by myself, I use the same material, but my meal was never delicious as my mom. So presentation is like the same. When we are preparing a presentation, we know we have very strong viewpoint. We have a good value to share with our audience. But after we share, our audience say, oh, is that true? Is that true? They will have this doubt or this. They will think, I think it's a little bit like unbelievable. So as a presenter, we will feel very frustrated when we hear this kind of feedback because we know we have value. So that's why I want to share with our audience, like if you apply simple tips, actually it's 5 tips. Their quotation, and their case study, their data, their humor, and their analogy. As long as you have these 5 elements or any of these 5 elements, you can make your meal more delicious. You can make your presentation more persuasive.
Presentation is like cooking.
Yes.
Without proper presentation, without proper preparation, without proper materials, it will not taste good.
And without proper ingredients, your meal is not first class meal.
I think experience counts as well. That's why your mom's cooking is always better.
Yes,
You need a lot of practice.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes my mama asks her, how many spoons you put? Agak-agak lah.
Yeah.
You just try. Okay, it doesn't taste good, put a bit more.
Yeah, that's right. So every time when I ask my mom, I said that you have something you didn't tell me. But she said that everything I told you.
I find that cooking, you really can't go for fixed measurement. Yeah.
Yeah.
But presentation can.
Yes, that's right. So that's why I'm here
Yeah.
to share.
What are the steps, what are the tips that you can share with us in terms of presentation? How do we make this presentation more persuasive, more tastier for our audience?
Okay, so tips number 1 is use quotation in our presentation because quotation is a condensed information. It can summarize our viewpoint and it achieves the purpose and make the presentation sounds very impressive. I want to give an example of Steve Jobs because he is a great speaker. And sometimes Steve Jobs is so great that he used other people's quotation. But the audience will think that comes from Steve Jobs. So, for example, have you ever heard of this quotation? Stay hungry, stay foolish. Many people think that this quotation comes from Steve Jobs. No, that's not true. Steve Jobs used other people's quotation, but he used it very well. So people thought, oh, this is Steve Jobs' quotation. So that's how he is good at using quotation.
Oh, whose quotation
Yeah,
is
whose one was it?
Okay.
I'm very curious now to know.
Okay, so the situation Steve Jobs used this quotation was in occasion. He was invited to deliver speech to those university graduation students. So at the end of his speech, he used this quotation 3 times. Do you want to know how did he repeat 3 times so he finally make people believe this is his quotation? Do you want to know that?
Of course.
Okay,
Share with
so
us, come on.
yeah, so here I want to share. This is the last part of his speech, lah. He said, Steve Ward and his team put on several issues of the whole Earth catalog, and then when it had run its course, they put out a final issue. It was the mid-1970s, and I was your age. On the back cover of their final issue was a photograph of an early morning country road, the kind you might find yourself hitchhiking on if you were so adventurous. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they signed off. Stay hungry, stay foolish. And I have always wished that for myself. And now, as you graduate to begin a new life, I wish that for you. Stay hungry, stay foolish. Thank you very much. So that's how he repeats 3 times. It's like he has no other words to say, but just repeating this same quotation again and again. And finally, people believe, oh, this comes from Steve Jobs. But it also summarized his whole speech, his whole presentation.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
Yes. But of course, when he was delivering that presentation, he was not as exaggerating as me. I purposely emphasized this sentence.
Yeah. So what other quotes that you can remember, Jun Sern? I mean, any very
Inspiring quotes?
Yeah.
There's a
You want to
lot.
share?
I personally, I like one is actually from Mahatma Gandhi. He said, "The only path out of poverty is through education."
Wow. That gives people aha moment.
Yes, and that is always what actually is my personal mantra also, because every time I use that, for me, I always believe that education is always the pathway out of everything. The more you study, the more you're exposed. I mean, I'm not just saying studying as in just go to school and study, as in studying life itself, studying from other people. And the more you learn, the more you're open and you understand people even more. And I realize sometimes people tend to say, I graduated from this uni, everything, but they're still so narrow-minded.
Yeah.
So education helps to open up your mind. Education in life. Wow, it's a philosopher.
That's why you
already,
keep
you
to
know.
be on learning, right?
So that's the power of quotation. Even after Gandhi delivered his presentation, like hundreds years later, Johnson still remember that quotation. So that's the power of quotation.
A lot.
Yeah.
I remember a lot of quotations. I'm not going to share it today. Not today.
Not
We have
today.
one show specialized on quotation.
Special.
only.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay. Besides that, how do you choose or determine what is a good quotation? Because, like, for example, sometimes some quotation may sound like what you think it is, but it may not be.
Yeah, some quotation may not be related to our presentation. I give an example. When I was organizing my company's annual event, so during my presentation, I want to send my appreciation to all the team members because they were not paid to organize the annual event. So at the end of my presentation, I give the quotation from a U.S. person. So the quotation, I think both of you will be very familiar. That is, do not ask what your country can give to you. Ask what you can give to your country. So I use that quotation to highlight, I appreciate all of your effort during the past 5 months while you are not paid to do this. Yeah.
Okay.
Wanda, what was any quotation that inspired you?
Inspired.
Wow.
Okay. So many quotation because when I look at LinkedIn people like to share a lot of quotation. But the lately one, because I attended the Millionaire Mind Intensive, and I keep hearing is how you do anything is how you do everything. So we keep repeating that. I think that quote is come from T. Harv Eker.
Yes.
Yeah. how you do anything is how you do everything. Yeah.
I have one more. I see, we are exchanging quotes now. This guy
I thought you
Please
had a
share.
session.
Wayne Dyer.
Yeah.
Okay, he's an American philosopher. He said, it's very similar to what you said just now. The state of your life is the reflection of the state of your mind.
Yes, yes, That's right. That's true.
And I have many more. There's one more. This one is a funny one. As in the words of my boss, shut up and go back to work. That's not aha, that's go All right, coming back. So, how important is it to have a good quote and in your presentation, and how do you relate it?
Okay, if you want to achieve the effect that long time after you deliver that presentation, people can still remember your key message. Then you try to find a relevant quotation at the end of your speech or at the beginning of your presentation. Yeah.
So, what's the next step? I mean, is there...
The next tip is case study. There are two kinds of case study: your own stories and other people's experience and stories. So these are the good material for you to come up good case study in your presentation. When you have case study, it means more credible. People will think that's true. That's true material.
Okay, I have one question for you, Catherine. Sometimes people think that it's very important to insert some funny elements or humor in presentation. So is it important? I mean, like, is it essential that the presenter must full of humor, or?
It's not essential. It's not a master element that every presenter will have, because humor to some extent is a talent that maybe you are given this talent when you were young, but I believe humor is also a trainable, learnable skill. That's my own experience. So humor is true. Actually, it's one of the tips I'm going to share with the audience. If you give a little bit humor, you can let people relax. You can give them a break for their mind, so they won't be like very tiring when they when they are sitting there, hear your presentation. Yeah, but humor definitely is a learnable skill, and I want to share that in the next station, how to like improve our humor.
Wow, that's great.
Oh, that's one of her steps, huh?
Yes.
Okay, now coming back to the step number 2, which is case study.
Yeah.
You were saying that case study is...
We can use our own stories. We can use other people's stories. Yeah.
But if just say like you want to use other people's stories, sometimes you get case studies from journals, especially you want to do a little bit more of a technical training, and of course some of the journals you have to pay to access them. How do you think we should pay, or should we just look for other journals that is free and is available that we can use, or different type of materials instead of journals, maybe magazines or something like that?
Yes. Actually, there are many channels for us to look for case study. For example, we can look for case study from books. We can look for case study from magazines, newspapers. Sometimes when I read newspaper, I find some interesting case study. Actually, I will cut that paper. I will keep it for my future, like training or presentation purpose. And also from like movies and video clips, and also e-learning platform like Vanda just shared. Yeah, there are many channels for us to look for.
And from YouTube, there's a lot, right?
Yes, sometimes even movie sometimes it's not true, but it gives people a message.
Is there any examples of what kind of what you call case study we can use? Is there any examples that you use?
Yes. One of the viewpoint, or actually one of the controversial topic, is that how can we balance our life with our work? Many people will argue, and many people will share their tips. So one of the case study I give before was from Jack Ma, the Alibaba founder. So once when he was deliver a presentation to his audience, he was asked this question by his audience: as a great entrepreneur, how do you balance your life with your work? So guess what Jack Ma said? Jack Ma said, did I balance my life with my work? Sometimes Jack Ma sounds a little bit arrogant. And he said, I have never balanced my life and my work. And I don't think any people who are doing business in Taobao, they are balancing their life and work. But what you can do is, if you want to be a great entrepreneur, you you are prepared to receive those unbalanced things, and you should have a strong heart to handle those unbalanced things. Yeah, so this is his message. And of course, other people will think that how do you balance your work and life? You cannot get 100% of balance. But what you can do is that you focus on your limit time and the limited energy on the certain milestone of your life. For example, if you are between 20 years old to 40 years old, you may focus on your career success. But if you are between 14 years old to 16 years old, maybe you should focus your time on your family and relationship. That is a goal you can achieve during certain milestone of your life. Yeah, so you can use your own story.
Wow, that's actually a very good case study.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to be taking a short break. And coming back, we're going to be learning the remaining steps that you can do to make your presentation more persuasive and, of course, much better. Right here on Inspired.
You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.
Well, welcome back to Inspired right here on DurianAsean. And right before the break, we did share about the persuasive way of how to make your presentation better. So we did cover on 2 steps already, which is what I call case study.
Which is, case study and the quotation.
Quotations. Oh, my brain. Too many info. Anyway, the third one is going to be even more mind-blowing. What's the third one?
The third one is data. The advantages of data is reliable, data is visual, and the data is effective. And another advantage of data, many people didn't realize, is that data can also convince your audience. Even they think your viewpoint is unbelievable. But if you show them data, they will believe.
But when you talk about data, right, I mean, how do you determine whether that data is reliable or not? Because sometimes people will just simply collect data from anywhere. How do you determine if that data is reliable or not?
Yes, data is everywhere on the internet. But my way of identifying reliable data is I will do reference check. For example, there is a very famous data chart, and this data chart was trying to convince people they have a wrong impression. Many people think that a great artist spend a lot of time in their work, and they can work very late. For example, they can work until midnight or the next day morning. However, the truth is that the information chart shows the truth is that worldwide 27 greatest artists actually most of them have more than 8 hours sleep most of the time. And that information chart was developed by New York Magazine and based on a book called Daily Rachel. So I found that information online, but when I read that information, the next step for me to do is I will find that book. I will find in Amazon whether there is a book called Daily Rachel or not, whether in that book there is a chapter about how many sleep hours the greatest artist will have or not. So that's my way of reference check.
So you always cross-check all the information before you're putting in. I mean, it's true, because when you want to present something, the information have to be at least, I would say, 80% credible. Because, of course, all information, especially when it comes to data, may not be 100%. Because everyone have different opinions.
Yeah.
But as accurate as possible. Correct?
Yes, true.
And is there anything else?
Yeah, the next tips is that we need to give analogy. If we are talking about something our audience are not familiar with, because analogy gives some comparison between the things we are familiar and we are unfamiliar. Yeah. So let's say if we are trying to tell people you should come out of your comfort zone. Although you will have pain, but you will have growth after this pain. If you just talk like this, people may not have the pain inside. So if you give an analogy such as just as a caterpillar comes out of its cocoon, so we must come out of our comfort zone. So if you give that example, you will think of the process that the caterpillar come out of its comfort zone. Pain, but be followed by the growth. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, there are quite a few interesting analogies out there. And like you said, there's one. This I think you shared with me previously. Just like a sword is a weapon to a warrior,
Yes.
a pen is the weapon to a writer.
Yeah.
And sometimes, in fact, a pen is mightier than a sword. But I mean, Now, Vanda, you do a lot of training. Do you use analogies also?
Yes, I need to use layman term because my training sometimes is kind of technical, so I can't keep talking of technical jargon out there. Yeah, so you give in layman term, so you use analogies.
You try to make it more simple for people to understand. Yeah, in fact, that's true. I mean, when it comes to tech, especially tech jargons, or even sometimes, I remember one time I was actually sitting in, because my company was actually interviewing this guy, the medical guy. So they have like a press conference, and then there's a few doctors and specialists sitting in that press conference, and they started using medical jargons, and you can see all the reporters were like,
confused.
okay, how do you spell that? Then they get confused. And I mean, that is a press conference, and it's the same thing like a presentation. Sometimes it's good to use analogy that is actually relatable. It's for people to actually understand it faster, and also for it to absorb, because different people think differently.
Yeah, sometimes you have different definition of acronyms, you know.
Yes.
Your short form maybe is different things.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
People misleading or, misunderstanding.
But have you ever come across giving an analogy but still they don't understand?
So far, I will select my analogies very carefully. I will make sure they understand it very well. I will test it out. Yeah.
So do you like I said, do you actually use analogy based on the participants that you're going to be talking to? Like, for example, if just say they are college students, and you know that most of the students, especially like you say IT, they may be a bit of an introvert. How can we use the right analogy to connect with them? Do you?
So for like people who are very introverted, or they are in specific professional area, but we will give them very life related examples. For example, like the cooking example I gave just now, though you may not cook before, but you know what is cooking. So it's not difficult to understand. If we want to talk something, we always use the life related examples to convince them.
And what is the next step? I mean, in terms of how to make your presentation more persuasive.
Okay, if we want to bring our presentation into the next level, we must insert a little bit humor. As I mentioned before.
I wonder, just I was asking just now.
But humor is also a very broad subject. So in this session, I'm not going to share a lot of tips. Maybe in the future sessions, I can share tips.
One special show on humor. Make sure you're going to laugh. Guarantee you're going to laugh.
Okay, you want to share? You want to share one humor that make people definitely laugh?
Okay. This one is not too clean. Why do...
So it's for adults. Yeah, we are all adults.
I wouldn't really say adult. I mean, okay. Why do gorillas have big nostrils?
I don't know.
Because they have big fingers.
Big fingers?
Okay. Not so clean.
So if not, they can't clean. Okay, never mind.
We must have some basic knowledge about this. Okay.
So I mean, I do, because for me, let's say for example, if I would do any presentation, anything, when I want to include humor, I usually don't plan the humor. Sometimes because I realize humor sounds funnier if it's on the spot.
Yeah.
When you look at people's reaction, then you're like, okay, it's because it's really based on your how you read your audience, I feel. And sometimes you realize that, okay, the one that I prepared may not work for these guys. So you have to, on the spot, sometimes when you talk. And for me, I like to use environmental humor, and I like to use a little bit on self-depreciating humor. So sometimes I make fun of myself. Like, for example, I would say that, humans must be fit. Don't be like me. No, I haven't been fit for the longest time. Okay, but the thing is, at that moment, maybe I was talking about how to discipline yourself and do more exercise. I said, I'm a prime example of the thing that I'm going to teach you, the opposite thing I'm going to teach you. So don't be like me. So be better than me. For example, some people laugh.
So
and I agree with you.
So when give up our ego, when we give up our pride, then we will be more humorous.
I want to share something because my son is interested in doing public speaking. So that day he told me that he said humor is essential Then he want to learn about humor. Then I'm asking him, how you learn about humor? I thought it's a built-in, it's a talent, right? He said, I will try to look at a lot of comedian delivering their speech on YouTube. So I'm not sure whether it works, Catherine. I mean, like, let's say you keep.
It works. Yeah, but it takes some time. But watching video on YouTube is only one of the methods. You have many other methods, to build in your humor skill. Previously, I also thought humor is a given talent, but now I realize through my own experience, I realize it's a trainable skill.
It's a trainable skill.
Trainable, that's good.
Is all. I mean, from what I've understand, humor is actually how you read your participants or your audience, and at the same time knowing what hits them the funniest. And there are different levels of humor. There are the clean type and there are the dirty type. Dirty type, of course, it includes a lot of things that I can't say on air. So it may be a little bit political or a little bit racial, a little bit on gender, a little bit on sexual. But sometimes there is also a way you can push the limit a little bit. That means you push the clean humor towards the dirty one a little bit. If you notice, sometimes some politicians, not politicians, or leaders, when they give their speech, sometimes it may sound a little bit dirty, or sometimes they purposely push the limit, but they do it in a very smart way. It's like, for example, it's a lot of money, I'm pretty sure someone's going to use it for a ring. Correct. See, the thing is, so once that happens, those that understand the joke, they will know the joke. But those that go, ring, yeah, my wife also buy a ring. They said, your wife also buy a ring. How much was the ring? So again, you see, I'm pushing the limit. I didn't say anything dirty. I'm just pushing the limit.
Let your thinking go wild.
Yes. So sometimes humor works in that way. It works when you allow your audience to just imagine.
That's true. When you are telling your audience something out of their expectations, they will feel funny.
There's another one which is borderline, which is sometimes, I remember my friend told me, they said, you know what they say about guys with big hands? Then those that with the dirty mind was like, hey, come on, man, it is not right. I said, no, they can carry more things. Okay. So this kind of things, So humor actually does, like you said, just bridge the gap. People tend to react faster or remember better with humor.
Yeah, and they also need a mental break. If they continue to listen to you, they will feel a little bit bored.
So, would you like to summarize since we are reaching to the end of the show?
Yeah, so in order to make our presentation more impressive, especially more persuasive, we need to apply 5 golden tips. The first one is quotation. The second one is case study. The third one is data. And the data can give you some very good advantages, and also analogy. And finally, if you can, give a little bit humor. If you cannot, we will talk about how to build up your humorous skill in the future section.
All right, so 5 tips. Number 1,
quotation.
So always read up. There's a lot of websites, like there's one Brainy Quote, Good Quote, or whatever. There's a lot of websites that you can read up quotes. If you don't know what quote to do, sometimes you can just go through some of the presentations. Some people do, and you see how they use their quotes. I think that helps. Okay. Then second one is case study. Get from reliable sources. Don't go and simply quote some fella and order. I remember there's one meme last time. They put a picture of Abraham Lincoln. They said, "Do not believe anything you read on the internet." Quote Abraham Lincoln.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
That is a joke, right?
That is a joke, but the thing is that's funny. So when I saw that, I was laughing. I was like, then my friend said, hey, because he didn't understand the joke, he said, hey, back then I got internet. Then I'm like, exactly. So get from a reliable source. Don't end up using that quote when you know that, to know your stuff. Third one is data. And then fourth one is analogy. So try to make it more simpler for people to understand what you're trying to say, especially if it's a very technical subject.
Yeah, especially your audience is not in your area.
Yeah, and last but not
Humor.
least, humor. Like what you just did, everyone laugh. And of course, earlier in the show, we did have a little bit on online learning, where Vanda shared with us. There are a lot of very interesting websites you can go. So do if you want to learn presentation, how to learn about humor, I think they have on online course also.
On Udemy a lot, on Skills there a lot.
How to be funnier. That one, good luck lah. Right. So it looks like we have come to the end of today's show. I still can't stop laughing. Anyway, so today's episode of Inspired. Once again, if you have any questions for us, you can drop us a comment on our Facebook page. You just have to look for DurianAsean, and we will try to answer it within our next show. So on behalf of the team, I'm Jun Sern.
I'm Vanda.
I'm Catherine.
Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed this show today. This is Inspired. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
You're now listening to DurianAsean, the voice of discovery and sharing.